pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've asked Eric Hopkins to begin prayer for us. Eric?
Hello everyone, it's good to be with you this evening. I have a scripture I'd like to read before I say the prayer. It's in Proverbs 16:3. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. Very simple, but straight to the point. Let's pray. Almighty God, thank you that you hear and answer our prayers. We invite your presence in this meeting this evening. For it is your presence that calms the troubled sea of life and speaks peace to our souls. Help us to have clear minds and peaceful hearts as we gather together, and provide healing for the hurting, transformation for our county, wisdom for this leadership, and salvation for all. In the name of Jesus our Savior, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, we need to have approval of previous minutes. Pass them down and look them over. Huh? Well, if they haven't, they're going to get an opportunity. Okay, any,
Let's make a motion.
well, you don't really need to make a motion for minutes, but we can.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I know you do for money.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Okay, any mail? None, okay. Does the county attorney have anything to add?
Very briefly, I don't know how familiar some of you guys are, but there's a solar project that's going to be about 75% in Rush County and about 25% in Fayette County that's going to be applied for soon. And along with that, there's going to be agreements that the commissioners and the council are going to have to get involved in. There's a gentleman named Rick Hall from Barnes and Thornburg that's involved in quite a bit of that discussion because there's going to be a lot of finance assessments going on and abatement requests and things like that. And we're going to want to get involved and negotiate with that solar company. He would like to have a executive session, executive meeting 2 weeks from today at 4 p.m. So it's going to be a little early for you guys. The commissioners earlier today agreed to that time tentatively based upon your guys' ability to do that. So I guess my request in short would be that we have an executive meeting March 21st at 4 p.m. To discuss that with Rick Hall.
Is there any objections to it?
I'm good with it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to vote on it, we're all, okay.
No, so we'll just kind of direct Jane to go ahead and get that notice out.
Okay.
Go ahead and have that scheduled.
Okay. Do we have any committee reports? Is Mr. Strong here?
I'm always here, Bob.
I kind of looked over you, come on. I gave you a chance to duck out.
Okay, you want me to say anything, I can skip it.
Oh, no, Dale, you
No,
don't have to come up
you
to the
come right on up and
podium.
let us know what's going on.
Uh,
You've got 5 minutes.
I won't take that, I'll be very brief. The commissioners received 2 bids today on the summer mowing contract for the Pioneer Cemeteries. And we handed those bids off to the Cemetery Commission for their review and recommendation, so we'll hear back from them at our next meeting, what they recommend, which contractor we go with. We heard from Michelle Dudley and Ryan Siggers. I won't cover that because they're here. They can speak for themselves. We did approve 144 for a part-time maintenance employee to help Josh Yarbo out over there, well, around all of our buildings. The gentleman's name is John Jones. So he's going to be a part-timer in our maintenance department.
The commissioners today agreed to proceed with the details pertaining to the air handling system at the jail. We want to use a state-sponsored program, say the acronym is JOC. Tracy, remind me what that stands for.
Job order contracting?
Job order contracting, thank you. It's a much simpler process than going through the bidding process. It allows us to custom tailor our needs with the contractor. We're new to this. There's only 2 contractors in the entire state of Indiana. The state is allowed to do this. We're not locked into anything yet, but the goal is to get the job done and spend less money. So we will see how this works out, and we'll certainly keep you advised as it proceeds.
Dale, are you still looking at the same figure that you were talking about earlier in the process on air handlers or
I
not?
hope not. That's why we're doing this.
Beg your pardon, Jay?
What's the ballpark ideal number for the handler project?
Well, it started out a couple of years ago at $428,000. And the last bid we got on it was over $800,000. We rejected that. Now, realistically, I don't think we'll ever get back down to the $428,000. But I don't want to spend any more money than we absolutely have to on that. You know, we want to get the job done, but we want to do it. We want to do the best we can.
If the 800,000, was that one of the 2, you said there's only 2 contractors that could do this kind of, the state certified to do this kind of work?
They had to turn in that bid, Vivian, that going, using the specifications that an engineer wrote up for that project.
I see. And that would have been DLZ, was that the engineer firm? Okay.
Yes, it was.
And the company that's from Richmond that's doing the work on the ladies' facility, they don't do that themselves at all? Because they started out life over in Richmond as an electrical contractor, electrical HVAC.
To the best of my knowledge, they're not in that business.
Okay, anymore, okay.
Dale, does this new program here you're talking about, job ordering contracting, does that start us back now at zeros to requote?
Yeah, basically.
Are we going to start the quoting process all over now using this program or whatever this is?
I think, Tim, I think that's an accurate description. But what we'll do is we'll take a look at the scope of work and trim out all the fat and get down to basics and no extra bells and whistles. And
Who wrote the scope of work?
Engineer.
the engineer from DLZ. And he was going by blueprints.
Okay.
Instead of on-the-job experience, he looked at blueprints and that sort of thing, and it wasn't really a good apples-to-apples comparison, comparing prints versus the needs of the job.
So I'm back.
It's been a mess.
I'm back to my original question. So we got this one I consider outlandish quote. So is that one of the 2 companies that are state certified?
Yes.
I mean, there's only really going to be one other quote that we're going to be able to get, right?
Yes. The company that we're dealing with, North Mechanical, is one of the 2 companies in the entire state that is in the JOC program.
Okay. So we're really only going to get one more quote even going through this program. We won't be going out there starting from scratch unless we just change the parameters of the quote
Right.
to save money.
Right.
Okay.
Will they be quoting the same scope of work, or are they going to rewrite their own? Or is that something you need to find out,
I don't know exactly how to do that. They're going to be taking things out of the scope of the work that are not necessary. Instead of replacing a blower unit that has a foundation footprint of 18 inches, they're going to leave it 18 inches instead of using one from another company that would have used 24 inches, which causes extra costs and that sort of thing. There's a lot more to this than.
You're not, you're talking air handling, are you replacing the whole system, or is it just the air handling unit that's within the confines of the main furnace or boiler unit?
Basically replacing, I'll say,
The whole
just
system.
everything that moves. I mean, it has working parts, fans and coils and.
Well, that's a good thing in a way, because once you put something new on something that's old, you end up with problems anyway.
Yeah, well, there's never been any plan to completely replace the duct work. You know, you can't do anything with that.
Ductwork, it's there.
It was built right into the concrete structure over there, and that cannot be changed. It's all a matter of being able to pump enough air through the coils and on through the ductwork to force the air out to the far end of the system. And that's going to take more air pressure on the back end, and the current size of fans will not do it. The coils are obviously clogged up with dirt, dust, and material that will not wash out. Hopefully, we'll find a way to get this done.
Did this ever work efficiently when it was built? Michelle, do you know? Were you here back in late 80s, early 90s?
Yep, I was here, as far as I know, it worked, but we opened that in, I think it was November 1989.
89 is when it started, yeah, I know, that's why I said 89, the 90s.
My guess would be that there hasn't been routine maintenance done on it. We react instead of being proactive. So I'm sure it worked back then, but what's the lifetime of an air handler? I have no idea.
Yeah, because what I had heard that it never worked adequately to begin with, I'd heard that rumor, and then I also had heard that, no, it was later here in the last 15 years or so that there's parts of the jail that are cold in the winter and they're hot, blazing hot in the summer. That the air is not getting reacted to. I don't know if they could assist that air with additional blowers part of the way into the system, if that was ever thought about, or so.
Anybody deal like that, you got the problem.
Well, we'll get through it one way or the other.
That's right, okay.
But anyhow, there'll be more reports on this thing, Vivian, moving forward.
Okay.
We'll keep you all in the loop on it. And we did make, on the behest of of Dan Parker and Gertrude Whitaker, we made 2 appointments to the Eastern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. We appointed Krista Gibson and Jim Spence to membership of that board, and they will have their first meeting next month. So that's it, maybe.
Back on something you said about the part-time, because Bill retired, the Jarbo guy took his spot, so the part-time job is not a new position, we're just filling in that, right?
Now, council, in this year's budget, council funded two full-time positions and with enough money for a part-time position. So this is not, I won't say it's new, but we're just now kind of getting caught up to our manpower.
That's what I'm getting at, you were just getting caught up with.
Yeah,
Jarbo was part-time when he started.
yeah. But he's doing a good job. We're getting a lot of stuff done. We're slowly catching up with a lot of things.
Did you guys ever go to that ticket process you were talking about?
Well,
What order?
they do work orders. I don't know if it's, I don't know how it compares to what other places do. They do work orders. Okay?
Thank you, Dale.
All right, thanks.
Is there any old business to be covered at this time? Okay, moving on to new business, Michelle and Ryan Seegers.
Hi. I sent everyone an email of the annual reports for community corrections and intensive jail treatment to your emails. It's a report that is required from the state, and it's also state statute that it has to be presented to this board. We expended in community corrections all of the grant funds, and we had 372 people come through that we provided services for, from work crew up through the ladder to work release. You know, I believe we had 81 in the jail treatment, and that wasn't a full year because we weren't still on COVID. If they have an outbreak at COVID, or we do, we don't go over and mix, but right now we're back in with the male block and a female block. Does anyone have any questions about the report? That's all I have.
Mine's very similar. We expended our $128,928.30. That's not all of that we received because some of our employees don't take the insurance, or not all of the insurance that they allot for that, so we did give a little bit of that back because we aren't allowed to move that money. I will point out, we collected $59,277.72 in restitution, which I really like that we're able to get some back to victims of the crimes. We served 1,058 probationers or pretrial assessees during this year. That's only for adult offenders, this DOC report, but I did go ahead and look up, just for your knowledge, we processed 129 juvenile cases last year as well. So that was the juvenile department by themselves. With 12 full-time staff, and yeah, it was really a pretty good year. We're getting back in the swing. COVID kind of kicked our legs out from under us too. We weren't able to do as much when the courts weren't running as fast, and we couldn't go out to the field, but we're getting back out there. Got our new staff trained. Obviously, still in the process of hiring one more after losing Lawrence. I got interviews set up this week, so hopefully in the not so distant future, I'll be able to come and get someone approved for that position. That's really about it. Keynote, if you have any questions for me.
Is 129 juveniles, is that about average?
Yeah.
Over the year? I know we've
Yeah.
got 2 outlying years, or maybe 3, but
We brand new cases for juvenile, there was 96. She also had about 33, 34 that had pulled over from the year, like already on probation. So she was supervising kids already on probation, plus intook 96 new kids. That's average. We hit around 100 a year new cases.
That's
But you know, turn of the year, if you're on probation in December, you're probably going to be on probation in January, so you get rolled over into those numbers. So I mean, she's a one-woman department now, and she's definitely, you're definitely getting your money's worth out of her for 130 delinquent kids a year. That's not even considering the ones that we didn't process through the school handled or some other agency handled for us. So those are the ones she actually sat down with, met with, and then either took through court or didn't, depending on their situation.
Did you have many applicants for the opening?
We've had about 8 so far. Some of them didn't meet the minimum standards that the state said, so I have a handful of the interviews set up so far. I'm hoping to get 3 more into. We actually have our first interview tomorrow.
Do I have a motion to accept the reports as given?
I second it.
Okay. I need somebody to make the motion.
Oh, I make the motion, I'm sorry. I'll make the motion to accept
Okay.
the report as stated. I'm sorry.
Second. Any more questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay, resolution, county digital health plan. I recall, but, yeah. Heather here? Yeah. go ahead.
Who seconded
Huh?
that? Who seconded that? I did.
Well, I'm Heather, and this is Stephanie from the Extension Office. We wanted to introduce ourselves to the new members and say welcome, and we wanted to just give you a quick update on some things that are happening in the Extension Office. Our numbers for 4-H are looking really good this year. We have about 20 new members this year, or our numbers are 20 higher of traditional 4-H members, which is 3rd through 12th graders.
Yay.
And then, right, it's looking, this is good, we're excited about that, and 10 new mini 4-H members. So, and I shouldn't say new, I should just say in addition, comparing numbers from last year to this year. So it's always our goal, 4-H is a youth development program, and so it's always our goal to reach out and get more youth involved. I think us going to the schools this year, promoting 4-H to 3rd graders, it did help. I even had a kid come up to me in Kroger 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he's like, how do I know you? And we boiled it down to the 4-H promotion at the elementary school. So I thought that was a good sign, and we're hopefully reaching some new and more kids next year. In the fall, we want to go back to the schools and hopefully meet with all of the elementary students, not just 3rd grade. This year was sort of a test for us. It's the first time we've been able to be in the schools since COVID, so we were excited about just the potential of getting into the schools, and so we kept it small, but we're going big next year, so we're excited.
Take them animals, you know that gives them.
I know, right? We're gonna take some dogs, some rabbits. That always helps, right? You're right, Kate. We've got our annual meeting coming up next week. Several of you RSVP'd for that. I appreciate that. We appreciate your support. We've got about 55 to 60 people RSVP'd for that, so we're looking forward to that event. If you haven't RSVP'd, and want to go, you are welcome to come. There's a flyer in your mailbox that you would have received, and just let us know by tomorrow. So we're going to put food orders in and get all that taken care of. So, and then finally, we've got March 18th. Right, we've got our big open house event. That's for current 4-Hers. New people that are interested in 4-H really can also come to. But that's an event where 4-Hers come and get their books for next year, get their manuals, get their record sheets. March is the time when we start really rolling with 4-H. Meetings start happening. The Horse and Pony Club is meeting in March. Dog Club meets. Those are usually the earliest ones that meet. The Tractor Club has already started meeting. So we're rolling. We're rolling with 4-H, and we'll be accelerating that through August, through the end of the fair. So we're excited about things to come. Stephanie's got a couple things to update you on her part.
Yeah. So I just finished my first 6 months here in Fayette County. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned an awful lot of new things, kind of a little bit overwhelmed at first, but settling in. We've been working with a homeschool group teaching STEM classes on Fridays. The kids have learned about air pressure, concentration gradients, and well, we did some water quality sampling. So just doing some really fun activities, kind of getting them interested in science and how to move forward. We have a partnership with Howden, and we had the kids some junior leaders go to Howden and take a tour of the plant and learn about what it takes to be a good employee, and kind of inspire them a little bit to continue their education and look into engineering and even accounting and some of the other office opportunities that could be in their future. And then Howden has agreed to help us with some spark plugs on small engines and electrics. So that's super exciting to have some local people who are taking an interest in 4-H and helping those kids develop those projects. And then on the Health and Human Services side, I've been working with Benchmark, leading a program for some of their clients in wellness and mindfulness. So lots going on. Just finished ServSafe training yesterday too. So
That's right. We're busy. We're moving.
You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to mention again, because I mentioned at the last commissioners meeting 2 weeks ago that Margie Jones, who Heather told me was a 60-year instructor for horse and pony and 4-H buckaroos, she passed away this last month. And, she was an awesome lady that loved children
And many of her kids went on to careers in equine industry. So she was a great asset to Fayette County back in the day. So I just wanted to mention Margie again. Recognize her.
And I got your email, and I've got some ideas, so we'll talk
Yeah.
offline about that.
All right,
and move
that's
forward with
good.
some things.
Love to recognize her. Okay.
Excellent. Any questions? All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on. Resolution. Okay, Dan?
Good evening, County Council. We have a digital inclusion resolution that the commissioners agreed to and signed this morning, or excuse me, this afternoon. And we would like for the council to do likewise. I'm getting blank looks. Have any of you seen it?
It was emailed to all of you last
When?
week.
Last week?
Yeah.
I watched the commissioners meeting, so I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
And I was there, so I know what he talks about.
But can you, again,
It's a 5-year plan that helps move the whole broadband equation forward. There are goals listed and outlined and objectives to each goal that helps Fayette County become more digitally included. It helps in the whole process as we go about trying to get broadband into the far reaches of the county. We're not unlike some of the other counties. They're in various stages of checking a lot of different boxes. One of the things that this does, the state is also putting a 5-year plan together. And Indiana may receive as much as $700 million in the IIJA funds to connect every last remaining unserved Hoosier with that money. And the state is telling us we can't create a plan in your area for underserved residents unless they have data and all of the other requirements that are needed to get the state's attention to say, hey, we need some of that money. This inclusion plan is one of those boxes we check. Being broadband ready, which we've already checked. Having a feasibility study completed, which we did in 2020, is one of those boxes. So this is just the county supporting the broadband task force in going forward.
and who all again is on that task force group? And how do you go about deciding who's on it?
It's about 13 people. Some of those are dictated by position, president of commissioners, president of council, the mayor.
I needed a job.
You need one more thing.
One more thing to do. Thanks, Dan. Okay. But basically, you're just getting high-speed internet to Fayette County.
That's the end
At
goal.
no cost to us.
Exactly. Free as can be to you, Bob.
If it's free, I'm all for it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to, could you send us an email showing the board members on that committee? I'm just
You bet.
curious.
In
Thanks.
fact, we're holding a meeting on the 3rd of April, a task force meeting here. You're all invited to come to observe. I can send all of you an invitation.
Location to be decided later, or you're gonna let us know where it's at?
You've got an invitation, you got yours today.
Darn.
It'll be at Army Tech, in
Army
the
Tech,
event
okay.
center
Okay.
at 4 o'clock.
When is it?
The 3rd of
Need a
April,
motion to accept
Monday,
this?
4 o'clock.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I apologize, I did get that email, I just missed it. But I have had a chance to review it, it's a no-brainer. I'd like to make a motion to pass the
Thanks.
Thanks,
add
Scott.
our name to the joint resolution.
I'll second it.
Okay. Have a motion seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we need to pass this around.
Thank you for your support. Much appreciated. Any questions for me?
Actually, I do have a question. So what's this, charters coming in from Franklin County into Fayette County, and we really don't know who's going to go through the county on north? Will be Charter again, or will be Comcast?
There's some
Or
RDOF dollars that have already been spoken for in the northern part of the county, I believe by Henry County. They
Oh, the
serve-
Henry County REMC, are they still, oh, I knew that a few years ago they were talking about it, but I thought that plan was dropped. Okay, so Henry County.
Well, I think the time has run out for those RDOF dollars. I think for 5 years, they give you the money, you can go ahead and do the install in 5 years, I believe. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure.
And then what about the fees to the individual resident? Are they, you don't know anything about the
Not my
fees? So
area.
we'll just have the
You
supply will
tackle
come
the best
in.
deal you can get, and
Okay,
you know, that's the problem, it's the last mile. Putting it down the roads is one thing, it's the last mile from the road to the home, or the country lane that's a quarter of a mile. That's the real expense.
Has already started then.
It is in the southern part of Fayette County, southern and eastern
About
side.
3 people down there. How about the rest of us up here?
It's not my plan, Bob.
Okay. All right.
Anything
Okay.
else?
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. Okay, Zach, additional appropriations?
Yes, sir. Good evening. We turned in a quote for portables for our jail officers. It's something that's been neglected for a while. We're wanting to take some money out of our misdemeanor fund. It can only be used for jail operations. I know Joey in the past has taken money out at the end of the year for medical. There's plenty of money in there. I think the quote was for around $12,000. We've got maybe 4 good radios in our jail that we have to share, and it's just becoming a bit of a problem. And to get good radios that go from one end to the other, you're gonna have to pay this money. We tried out several different radios, and we just tried these out the other day, and they seem to work pretty good. So I'm asking for the transfer of the money, I guess. Yes, sir.
How many radios would that be, Zach?
That'll put I think the quote was for 12.
For 12?
Now, we got 22 jail officers, but in a perfect world, everybody would get their own radio, but funds are limited. So I want to start off with 10, that way we can rotate them in and out per shift. And then once the female work release opens up, we'll probably have to try to get some more.
How long do they last?
The ones that Joey bought, the ones we have now, I think in his first year, so
8 years.
about 8 years.
8 years,
Yeah.
okay.
And they're in bad shape.
Is there any grant money available for,
I've asked Wade, most of the grant money is for 800s, and the jail doesn't need that. I mean, you're looking at $3,000, $4,000 for a radio. We don't need that in the jail. We just need good digital portables that will get out inside of our facility. But any grant money, you think, for jail radios?
Possibly. I'm getting ready to start working towards our SHSB, which is state-owned security grant. And I'm going to look at communications equipment for Fayette County. But that being said, for the specific job you need them for, I don't think the grant would go for that. What you're asking for is more of a two-way.
You're just asking to move from one line item to the other.
Yeah, from the misdemeanor fund. And again, we got a grant for, between the fire departments, the volunteer fire departments and us, and I was thinking, oh boy, we got $75,000 to split between the 4 of us. I can use that money to get these radios, and that's just for 800s. So 800s are what we use on the road, but in the jail, we're just VHF, and they're significantly cheaper, but they're still expensive. And the misdemeanor fund is just money that comes from DOC. It used to be the state would pay you to house inmates in your jail. Sort of like everything, they stopped doing that. They just give you a lump sum every year, and I think we get $18,000 every year, every 6 months, something like that. And we just use it for stuff inside of our jail.
Put That's 402.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we,
Have a motion to accept. Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Have a motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, Zach, thank you.
Anything else? Any questions?
What's the jail count today?
We were at 120, Justin Gray just brought in 3, so I think we're at 127, 128, which is normal for us. And just for information, I've been going through all of our contracts. I think I got our phone vendor. I think I've almost worked it out where we should be getting a bigger commission check for the county. We were only getting 30%, 20-some%, and I got it worked out to where we can get about 30 or 40% from our inmate phones, so that commission check should go up. And then our food vendor, if we go with the same food and commissary vendor, they're going to give us a nickel per meal savings, and the people that I've been talking to, they're already going to give us about a 10-cent savings than what we're paying now. So 15 cents a meal when you're looking at 180,000 meals a year, it adds up. So hopefully we can make some money there too.
How many women do you have, Zach?
That's a good question. I think it was 20, just looked at it, 26 or 27.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll fill the women's center up pretty quick.
Yeah.
We just got to get employees.
That's scheduled to be done in December then?
That was what it said, but I don't know if that's going to work or not. They're working on it, but it don't look like it's going very fast.
Okay.
We'll see.
Zach,
Yes.
will these new radios work from the women's center over to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked to the guy today, and he said that they'll work between both. They actually, dispatch can even get a hold of
Okay.
our jail officers on these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Zach.
All right. Any questions anymore? All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, Betty, are you here? Are there appropriations?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I asked Zach to stick around because I'm trying to spend the money for him. He's spending his money in art. We're just needing to buy, you all were gracious enough to provide more deputies, and so we need to outfit those cars, and we need radars in the cars. I'm proposing that we do it from this fund because it's kind of, we'll get a little bit of that back, probably.
Yes.
How many radar units are you talking about?
What we got is two radars.
You got 2 now?
What we're trying to get this fund is 2 radars. Again, mobile radars are expensive. I found some that were twice the price, but I got with Gulls, and they're on sale right now, so we got them pretty cheap.
How many have you got over there now?
We got one handheld that is held together by tape, and then we got 2 mobile in our vehicle, so this will put us at 4.
How many tickets does your people write a month?
I have no idea off the top of my head. We got some young officers that are out doing a lot of good work. I just got a text the other day that Jake Lunsford got somebody going 101 on 44.
Do they use radar?
Yeah, and then right behind that he got somebody going 95. So he wrote both of them a ticket.
And the other thing, it's not just for enforcement of speeding. For whatever reason, people who carry large amounts of drugs go really fast. And they get stopped, and we end it. Sometimes the ticket isn't even filed because why mess with the ticket when you have a major either drug dealing or large drug possession. So it's not just, although I appreciate, we do, I think some days Colin signs a lot of tickets. I don't really have a way to know which department
Well, I went over there today, there's not very many written for speeding
I don't like to
to the sheriff's department.
I don't like our guys to write a lot of tickets. Like she said, it's usually to get a traffic stop and to see what you can find. There are times where they're going to write tickets. When there's construction out on Alpine Road and we got a lot of complaints, we wrote quite a few tickets. Dan Becker, he ran through a couple of rolls of printer tape just because he was writing quite a few tickets. But for the most part, it's just an added fee to somebody that maybe they can't afford it, but with a good, hey, slow down, I got you going 20 over, and that sometimes works.
And the presence in the area. I slow down when I see a cop pulling somebody over.
I still slow down when I see a cop. And I'm in a police car, so.
And the other thing that I think we notice a lot is that people get pulled over for speeding and they're driving without a license or they're driving without insurance. And those are the tickets that get written even when they're infractions, because those are the ones that help us to enforce making sure people are licensed and insured. And those are also often ones that we try to work with people. If you're not licensed and you're not insured in this county, you don't have the benefit of good public transportation. So when they get to our office with those kinds of tickets, we're trying to put them into diversions or deferrals on the condition that they get licensed and get insured. So that those of us who are out there driving around who are risking getting hit by these people, perhaps the next time we can manage to get them insured and licensed.
So in some instances, it's just a tool for you guys to use for probable cause,
Yes,
right?
yes. Unless, again, it's outrageous like the 101.
Right.
And a 55, yes, that's a ticket.
Right.
But for the most part, yes, it's a tool. But we do have some guys that just go out and like writing tickets. Again, it's not the greatest idea, in my opinion.
I think that's wrong when you just go out
Yeah, I don't like that.
and do that.
In my career, I think I've written one speeding ticket, just because I like to stop cars to see if they're, like she said, wanted, got drugs, suspended, things like that.
Intoxicated.
Yeah.
You know, worst thing is, it's a little bit off subject, but we've had 7 drug overdoses, people dying in Fayette County since January. So we need to work on that a lot heavier.
Yes. I got 2 detectives on it right now. They're actually out right now, working late, trying to make a dent in that, because Joey and Dan, those are my 2 detectives working criminal and drugs. And yeah, I agree. That's the thing that we need to focus on.
And our numbers are significant too, up in terms of filings. And we've had some big cases just since the turn of the new year.
Yeah, one of our deputies just got 19 grams of meth off of somebody as I was walking over here.
We are on pace to break any record for number of filings, criminal filings.
But I got another one to ask you.
In 20 years.
Got another one to ask. What's going on with murder cases? We've had 2 murders in this.
I cannot discuss an ongoing investigation with anyone. It's under investigation.
Betty, do you have any idea where the drugs are coming from? I mean, specific area?
We all know where they're coming from. They're
Well, I
coming
know,
from
but we're not on
Dayton.
the
Sometimes
board.
they come from Fort Wayne.
Fort Wayne.
I'm sure that if you get with Zach after the meeting, he can tell you exactly what block to go roll your window down on and stuff some money out at Dayton, and they'll give you some drugs.
Yeah.
It's drive-through over there.
Why do you think they bring them to Connersville though?
That's
So
the ones
much.
picking them
Well,
up.
I mean, the people in Connersville bring them to Connersville.
I know,
People in
but why-
Richmond bring them to Richmond, and
Right,
the people in Rushville bring them to Rushville, and
Right.
the people in Newcastle bring them to Newcastle.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of,
Is.
we don't have a kingpin that goes to Dayton and gets all these drugs and brings it back and sells it to everybody. We got users that are going over, getting enough to sell a little bit to feed their habits, so that's what we're doing.
You've got mules from Texas and the borders bringing them up to these central areas, and then we drug dealers here know where to go get them.
Yeah.
But they're coming here because people are using them.
Yeah.
And it's that problem from whether you look at here in Dayton or Dayton in Mexico, and Mexico getting the stuff from China. There's a demand.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I just want to mention that Brady Ritter, a friend of ours from sheriff in Wayne County, he had some major drugs coming into his jail, you know. I suggested that maybe they need drug dogs 24/7. Do you feel that that's a problem here as well?
We just had the opportunity to get another drug dog that was out of Plainfield, I think, and it fell through our hand. We didn't get it in time, but we have a good canine officer with the county. He'll come into the jail whenever we need him. and then we got two, getting ready to have 3 in the city, and they'll come into the jail whenever we need them.
So they just walk up and down the aisles and
In our jail,
sniff, or do they check people that are coming in for
they don't check
visitation?
people coming in, we got the body scanner for that, but
We need to have Jane back.
when we do a shakedown, we'll bring them in and we take all the inmates out, and then the dogs go through the cells and sniff, and if they indicate, then we know we may have
Do you
something.
do that? I know you have to do it irregularly, but do you do it fairly frequently?
Frequently, I think since I've been sheriff, we've done it maybe 3 or 4 times.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Do I have a motion to?
I'll make a motion to approve the 5,000.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Aye.
We have,
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Kelly, you have something for us?
Yeah.
All right, just in addition to the minutes.
Yes. So I am here to ask to transfer some funds from line, from a 30 line. How do I do this, Jane? Because I really don't think I've done it. I've got it in front of me what I'm doing.
Yeah, you just want to request a transfer from account 30303 other services.
To the
Account.
112.
Yeah, 20112 office furniture.
Okay, yes, so I have an other services fund line, and that number, like she said, is 3303, into the line for office furniture, 20-112, so I'm just basically wanting to transfer some funds. I'm just getting a new office chair.
What's the amount?
250.
You can have this one. It's broke.
Yeah, no, that's why we're doing, we have been updating the dispatch center. The city had given us paint, we've painted the room.
Good.
And we've been really getting it all straightened up. So one of our chairs is a death chair, so we're needing to replace it.
I'll make a motion to approve the $250.
Okay, have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Kelly.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
She had to be someplace else, so. yeah, okay. Okay, cemetery fund.
There was no.
They've already
No one here? Okay.
No one here.
And they
Okay.
just need to transfer that $120.
We're gonna make a vote on it.
They want to transfer funds from account 20100 office supplies to account 30100 telephone.
Yeah.
They have a telephone line now that has been installed for them, and they just need to pay for that.
Okay, she's not here tonight. Do I have a motion to accept that
I'll
transfer?
make a motion to accept it.
Second. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, Wade?
How are you all this evening?
Keep the best to last.
I don't know about that. I just wanted to quickly, before I go into my other stuff, let you guys know, to date, I've made 7 emergency responses. And I've sent out over 7 weather-related emergency alerts through our civic system. I've had over 37 different meetings, and next month I have, or this month actually in March, I have about 12 scheduled, and that's just starting. So,
You haven't had a blizzard yet.
right, I hope everybody made it through the flooding we just had. We had 3 roads closed due to that, and 2 water rescues.
And where were they at? You mentioned that earlier today.
Yeah, one was on Waterloo Road.
I figured Waterloo was
And then the other was 350 South.
I figured it was south.
Yeah, and then the other one I want to say was like 475. It was out closer to Everton. So, and while that stops people from traveling, we still have people that want to drive through floodwaters and get their cars swept away. So, Fayette County Sheriff's Department, Carterville Police Department made a really good rescue there, and then I responded as well with Glenwood. The people were actually got out of their vehicle by a passerby that helped, so there wasn't nothing that I needed to do, but what I went on from there and did was went and checked out the bridges and make sure that the roads are passable and we don't put people in harm's way needlessly.
How many Fords are in this county, do you know?
How many?
How many Fords instead of a bridge? Like I have one on 750 West.
Mhm.
There's one there,
Yeah,
where
there's-
Shawnee Creek goes through.
Right, Right, there's quite a few. I don't have exact numbers. And
I know it's a big problem with Franklin County, because I've been talking to Lindsay
Yep.
and Patterson, who is our state rep now, and she had a bill at the state legislature which did not pass through to get funding for increasing those, but it seems to be, she said, other legislators, like, they didn't even know what a Ford was. They don't have them in their county, so must be something in this area
It
that
is,
is different than the rest of the state.
It's definitely unique, but we have several of those, and I've silenced my phone like twice, and it keeps coming back on. So pardon the interruption, but I can get you those numbers.
No, that's okay, I'm just curious, yeah.
I don't have the exact count right off the end. All right, moving on, I want to let you all know that the county commissioners today approved the vehicle purchase for a 2019 Chevrolet Silverado. This truck is 45% less than the $50,000 that was appropriated for the emergency management. The truck is here. If you guys would like to take a look at it after the meeting, I'll be happy to show it off. It's a really good truck. It actually comes with a toolbox that I would have had to have purchased later on and come to you all for additional appropriation. That's about a $12,500 savings just in the truck box that it has. I am going to request tonight, I was going to have a couple additional appropriations, but after talking with Jane and trying to figure out the best way to do that for my field gear, the EMA salary is to transfer funding out of that additional appropriation. That way we don't have to appropriate more funding. I do have that request, and let me find it so I can make sure I let you know exactly. Have you all got a copy of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So then I won't go through it if you all have read it. But those are all items that I was going to come to the council for and request appropriations for. This kind of cleans it up and makes it a little easier. And all spending on the truck, everything that I need to do to get the truck moving forward and response ready. The additional appropriations that I would have had, we're still spending significantly less than what we would have. So I'm happy with the purchase. I think it's going to be a great truck. And I think with the gear and getting it outfitted with radios, lights, and sirens, it's very much a cost savings to the taxpayers.
Okay. Any more questions from the council? Don't have a motion.
I'll make a motion we pass all 5 transfers.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion made, seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, well,
Thank you.
you're in business.
Thank you very much. One other thing, we're standing up our LEPC committee, and we're moving on that. And I was going to briefly talk about the train derailment in East Palestine and kind of some of the steps that we're moving towards here in Fayette County.
Yep, we talked about that earlier.
Right. So, as you all are aware, there is a hazardous materials train derailment, which somebody in their infinite wisdom decided to burn off and send toxic fumes all over East Palestine. That's something that those people will be dealing with for years. We don't know the extent of what the damage is now. But we did have a minor train derailment here in Fayette County. So part of our threat hazard identification and risk analysis with our LEPCs is to identify those threats and hazards that may or have a significantly higher chance of actually threatening Fayette County or the residents. Well, having a minor train derailment and seeing there's been 2 more, one in
Springfield.
and the other
There was
was
one
in
in,
Columbus.
Columbus, and then there was a passenger train in Salt Lake City,
Right.
went off the rails, and I think there was one down south, either Florida or Texas, somewhere south. I
And
mean,
they
there,
never let you
it's
know this is
maintenance.
coming through, do they?
Well,
It's
and,
like
and
a
they don't,
maintenance.
which is why I'm bringing this up. So with our train derailment, dispatch called me and said, hey, we have a train derailment and they're shutting roads down. We're not really sure what to do. I said, I've got this. So I started making phone calls. I did reach out to CSX. I talked to their supervisor on the ground that day, but they're not really readily sharing information. I did talk to my state counterparts, and they got me a contact for a little bit higher up in CSX. So I'm going to reach out to them here once we start putting these plans together, and see what we can do to be notified when hazardous materials, nuclear waste, anything is coming through our county.
Do they slow their speeds down when they go through communities?
I think they try to speed them up, honestly.
I wonder that
Or either
because-
that or they're going to park in front of the
They put a
the
speed
road.
limit on trains in Fayette County.
Yeah.
25 miles an hour, you'll be through here in no time.
Yes. Well, and that would be ideal, right? We want them to come through and just move on.
Sure.
But we also want to know what's coming our way. And now, I will tell you, the military, they will not give us anything. The stuff that they transfer on trains, we'll never even know that it's come through here.
Yeah.
But normal businesses, things that are transporting liquid petroleum, other chemicals, we need to know, because if we have an incident like they did in East Palestine, we definitely won't be burning it off. That would that's going to make a huge environmental disaster. And with us having the Whitewater River, nursing homes, hospitals, schools, all within.
Well, our aquifer, for Pete's sake. That's-
Yeah, right. So,
And those takers are not placarded either.
well, they're supposed to be.
They're supposed to be.
Are
They
they?
don't always. So that's why I think I'll work with CSX and I'll try to build a relationship with them to where they're comfortable giving us the information. But, you know, we really have to be diligent and pay attention, because if something like that grain car tips over here on 9th and Eastern, that's going to affect the entire city. We're not very big or spread out in Connersville specifically.
Where do those chemicals come from that they spilled? Do you know?
No, they come from different factories.
So all railroads carry those materials?
Yes.
They all do.
They all do.
Yeah, and it looks like Norfolk Southern is the one getting hammered the most right now because of East Palestine. Yeah,
I mean, railroads have been doing this for years
right.
and years.
Chances of that actually happening probably a little bit slimmer, but still yet. I mean, we just had a grain car tip over because somebody pushed the wrong button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One car went one way, the other car went the other way. So, you know, I'm glad it was grain. I just don't want anything else.
Thank you, Wade.
We'll work
Okay.
on those plans.
All right,
so.
thank you. All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, we're about ready for another meeting. Do I, is there more business? Okay. I have a motion for adjournment? So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Can't beat that, right?